Hello all, how are you doing? I hope I am audible. Yes, right? Thank you. Okay, I will wait for 1 more minute to start. I hope that's okay. Hi Piyush, how are you doing? Hello Roshan.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening,
So how
ma'am.
is good evening? So how is it going on? Did you all try all the collections? So there was a break of a week maybe. So did you all must have got the time to execute the things, right? So did you all execute the things? Obviously, the question would be asked to the other students also whenever they will join. That's not a problem at all. Okay. We are going to start with the functions today. I hope that's okay. Can anybody tell me what do you mean by function? Have we used them before? Hello Nitish, how are you doing? Have we done the functions before? Do we have an idea that how to execute the function? What is the need of the function? Have you heard this word before? Good evening, Nitish. Okay, so the question is for all. Piyush, Roshan, Nitish also, he would join again. Must be some internet issues. Okay, so have we used the word function before? You can write it down in the chat. Okay, block of code which can be whenever needed. Okay, fine. Good. Very good, Piyush. Okay. So, can you please tell me how have we used them before? The block of code I understood, but how have we used them before? Can you please tell me in which manner we had done them or something like that? If you can please shed some light on it. Hello, Vaishali. Hello, Rishant. Okay, so what do you mean by a function? Yes, good evening. Okay, for example, forget about it. Okay, for example, if you and me are sitting in a classroom, obviously I am standing in front of you and you are sitting. Okay, your classes happen like that only, right? And if I suppose tell you something that please go and get my chalk box and duster. This is my favorite example. Huh? So because there are chances that the teacher is always forgetting some or the other things. Okay. So the thing is, suppose if I say so that if suppose please get my the chalk box and the duster, what would you do? You would stand up from your place, you would get up from your place, you would go to the door, you would go to that particular department wherever I generally sit. Okay. And you would get that particular chalk box and the duster and give it to me, right? Because I will need it while teaching it to you, right? So what is this? This is nothing but a task. I just tried to give you one work and you completed. Seen that in my whole tenure. Okay. So generally the students cooperate. Okay. And they say, okay, ma'am. And they feel very happy that madam has given us some task to do. So what are we going to do in Python? You know, with that particular function, we are going to execute the task. Okay. And whichever we want to it to the one which we want to get executed. Okay. The meaning is I want to execute, say, POW function. Do you remember POW function we had tried? And then what else? type we had tried, int we had tried. Do you all remember that? You can type it down in the chat. I don't mind at all. No problem. If you can't speak, it's okay. Very much okay. Okay, type it down in the chat quickly. Okay, but please be alert and give me the response whenever I ask the question within 2 minutes, or 2 minutes also more than that, more than the time that has been given that particular task to be done. Okay. So now the thing is, what is happening? We have done int function, we have done append and then insert and then extend, so many functions in list also. In addition to that, we have done type. Okay. In addition to that, we have done print input. Okay. So those were the tasks we used to give it to Python that, okay, do it for me. So whenever I say print, it used to print it for me. Whenever I say input, it used to, that cursor is waiting for me and displaying me that, okay, you need to enter the value. Okay, whenever I say append, it used to enter the value at the end of that particular list, right? So this is happening, right? So this is something, the task that is getting executed is nothing but the function. So we have done which type of function up till now? Can you please tell me? Which all types of functions we have studied till now? Can you please give me the idea on it? Have you heard about system-defined functions or built-in functions? Have you heard about this particular word, or have I used this particular word before? Built-in function or system-defined function? Yes? No, I haven't, right? Because you aren't saying anything. Okay, I must have said so. So the thing is, I have used many a times the words, the terms like built-in function or system-defined function. These are the functions that are defined by that particular programming language. Currently, we are talking about Python, but tomorrow we might talk about Java. Maybe we can talk about the Ruby as a programming language, Julia as a programming language, or SQL also for that matter. Okay, then that time we are executing these tasks and we are asking that particular compiler or the interpreter to execute the tasks for me. That's nothing but the function. And up till now, we have learned the system defined or built-in function, because whenever we used to install Python, along with Python software, some we can say executables come along with them, come along with that particular software. Yeah, some of them, something like say pip install, we had done Jupyter Notebook. Okay, or sorry, Jupyter Lab. Maybe we must, if suppose you have done pandas, numpy in at any point of time in your life, then you must have seen pip install say numpy, pip install say the pandas. Okay, or if suppose you are using MySQL as the backend and the Python as the front end. Okay, then there also we are using PyMySQL as the library. So what are we doing? We are installing those libraries and then those functions get available to us. But still, I am not talking about some other type of function. All of them are the built-in functions because they come along with Python package automatically or by using pip. That is Python installer package. I install them and then I use them whenever I need to use them. Okay. Now today we are going to look at the another type of function that's nothing but the user defined function. Okay, so let's get back to our PowerPoint presentation. So we are going to, I hope it's my screen is seen, visible. So here we are going to talk about the functions. Fine. We are going to cover defining and calling function, parameters, and the return values. Let's see how much we can complete. Okay, depends on your response or how do you respond to me, and I am expecting that you would respond to me as and when I ask you the question. Otherwise also, if you have any doubts, please write them down in the chat. I don't mind. Okay, so there are classifications of the functions and types of the functions. They are nothing but the system defined functions or the built-in functions, whichever I said. So we talked about say len or print or range or type or int. I spoke to you all all the functions up till now, but today also I spoke to you from them at least 4 to 5 functions. Okay, so these are the functions that are predefined in that particular programming language. Currently, we are talking about Python. Now, there are different type of functions. They are nothing but the user-defined functions. So, what are the user-defined functions? They are nothing but the computational constructs, okay, that might have the 0 or more input parameters. Not necessarily that we will have the parameters into them, okay. We will not have, maybe we may not have the arguments in them, okay, but we are expecting some output. Now, why those functions are playing a very important role? Why to learn them? Because we want the programs to be modular. Do you remember I had talked to you all about the modularity, the word chunk? Okay, we need to execute the program in chunk by chunk manner. That is better, because if suppose we have got a larger program or having a greater length, it will not be possible for us to understand the logic behind it. And if suppose the error comes, how to find it out? Fine, the line numbers are shown, but many a times the line numbers aren't correct because we haven't given the proper bracket in the top statement. Okay, and then we get the error for the bottom statement, something like that. Okay, suppose I have got the number of lines in my program as say 100 or 500. Okay, it's really impossible to find out the errors. Fine. So whenever we want the program to be written in chunks or in a modular manner, okay, we are using the user-defined functions. Otherwise, also we are using system-defined functions for that. Assume that if suppose there is no input function, there is no print function, there is no sum function, there is no type function, you know, Python could have been so heavy software. It is very much easily, the code is very much easily transferable from one machine to another. That is known as the robustness. Okay, I can execute my program on Windows, or I can have suppose Linux VM virtual machine. Have you heard about the virtual machine? You can write it down in the chat. Okay, suppose I have got the Linux VM in my machine. I can execute it very easily. In addition to that, if suppose I want to use it on mobile by using some Pydroid like of software, type of software, I can execute the same code over there. Okay, so that's why the those functions are defined in Python as built-in functions also. Okay, so I spoke to you what do you mean by modularity, but yes, I'm going to speak to you in a more, maybe in a descriptive manner in the later slides. Okay, or I will open my Jupyter notebook and then I will surely talk to you all about it. Okay, I hope everybody is getting it, because see, this topic is very, very important. That is one thing. Once you understand the basics, nobody is going to stop you. Okay, so please, if suppose you have any doubts after say one or 2 or 3 slides and 1 or 2 programs, sorry, huh? Once I execute, please do let me know in the chat, or you can speak to me directly. I don't mind. Okay, so whenever we are using the user-defined functions, we are using the word def, that is definition of the function. Okay, we can pass the parameters into that particular function. Okay, we might give the return, we may not give the return. That's why it's written optionally. Okay, and execution is deferred until the function is explicitly called. Okay, so this is something like my code. Okay, so now I will just take you to the Jupyter notebook. Any doubts up till now? You can speak to me if it is possible, so that I can open the Jupyter notebook and I will not be able to see your messages at this moment. Okay. By the way, I have got that session, what session 10, session 11, 12, whatever. Okay, that's also there. Fine. I am going to execute my code also, which I have prepared, and the one that are there in the slides also. So as many as codes we can execute. Okay. Now, So here I will go. Now you can see here. See, I hope you all can see this, right? So if I'm talking about def greet, okay, so greet is the function. How is it written? With the open parenthesis and closing parenthesis, and then we are writing welcome to say CS 1010 Python programming, and then it is called. Okay, now suppose I don't write it down, okay, and I'll execute it. Nothing happened. Okay, so only writing the definition is not going to help you for executing the function. Okay, you need to call it as. I'll give you one example on this. For example, when I saw the number of students in the class today, if suppose I say that, okay, Rishant is the student. I haven't seen his name before. I must have missed it. That's not the problem at all. Okay. But suppose I am saying that Rishant is appearing for the lecture for the first time. What am I going to say? There is a instruction in my mind. Okay, I'm seeing his for the first time. And then after that, what is going to happen? So I would ask him, Rishant, have you come for the lecture for the first time? Or haven't I seen you before? Okay, in the class also that happens. Whenever you take admission, it is in your first semester. Okay, that time so many students are coming, not coming, they are regular, they are irregular, and then after 1 month or so they come regularly to the college. But then by that particular time, okay, what happens? Teachers also get used to those faces, whoever are there. Okay, Rishant, no problem. I just said it. I just said so. As an example, I said. Thank you so much for the response. I'm happy. Okay. So the thing is, okay. So the thing is, what happens there? We call by that particular student's name. Now, again, assume that I am taking a class personally in the classroom. Okay. And I would say, if the student who is in, say, black t-shirt, can you please stand up? And can you please tell your name? And then I would say, okay, are you attending the lecture for the first time? So it happens generally with the teachers, and you also must have seen it in your classes, in your lectures. Okay, what is this? I'm calling that fellow by saying, hey, black t-shirt, will you please stand up and will you please tell your name and how are you and this and that. What is this? This is nothing but calling. Though you are there on the attendance list of that particular class, okay, though your roll number is say 24, okay, up till now I must have written it as absent or present, whether you are present or whether that black shirt fellow is present or absent. But I saw him for the first time, I'm going to call him. What is this? Whenever I say that on the attendance list his name is there, is the definition. Okay, already his name is there. He had taken the admission, that black shirt fellow, whatever the example I'm giving. Okay, but whenever I'm seeing him in the class for the first time, I'm going to call him. What is this? Definition and calling. Did you understand? See, with such examples which we come across in day-to-day life, if we keep them in mind, it's really better for us to understand the concepts of any technology. Okay, I would tell you that surely. Okay, so we are going to write down the def and calling. Got it? So from my example, you must have understood. Fine. So here, this is something like we spoke about def, greet, print. Now, that what is that greet is doing? Printing something. What is printing? Welcome to CS 1010 Python programming. But if suppose I don't, if suppose now again I will remove it and I will execute it, nothing would happen. The cursor came to the later cell. The meaning is I need to call the function. Okay, so this is definition and this is calling. Okay, now how to write down the definition? Please keep it in mind. We are not supposed to write the whole word definition. We are supposed to write down def. We are going to write down here the function name. Please keep it in mind. Don't give the function name which are already there in our Python. Currently, we are talking about Python, but in any programming language, because they are the keywords, they are the special words, so you are not supposed to give them. So I'm not supposed to give def int or def print or def type. Okay, I can give def greet. That's not a problem. Opening and closing parenthesis. Okay, and then here once I write it down, okay, it's going to get automatically indented, and then it is going to get printed. Now, please keep it in mind why there is a need of this colon, because this colon is going to define a scope. Okay, that this particular greet is going to get executed in this particular manner. Okay, so this is going to get executed. Got it? Any doubts up till now? So this is a very easy function which we saw just now, and I hope you understood it. Yes, no, I will wait for a few seconds. Would you please write it down, yes or no? Thank you so much, Rishant. Others, are you? I hope you all are getting it. Great, great. Thank you, Roshan. Okay, others can also, or suppose if you have any doubts, please write them down. I don't mind at all. Fine, no problem. Now we can go ahead. Okay, now I spoke to you about the modularity. Do you remember? Or the chunk. Okay, now assume that we are writing down a program. You can read this particular slide, not an issue. Until then, I can give you the example. Suppose we are writing down the program. If suppose I ask you to write down the different programs, say factorial of a number, check whether that number which has been entered by the user is prime or not, and with the same number, calculate the area of the circle. So take that particular number for the factorial also, take the same number for the prime also, and take that the same number for the calculating the area of circle, that is as a radius. Okay. Now what is going to happen? You are going to give that whatever that number A. Okay. You are going to give it, if suppose I am asking you to write down the different programs. Okay. You are supposed to write down at least a few statements in a repetitive manner. Why? Because you will need to take you will need to print that, okay, enter the value of this, get the value of that particular, say, A or R or whatever, factorial. So NO number as NUM, something like that, right? But if suppose I ask you, okay, write down these three programs together, don't you think those number of statements whichever are going to get repetitively coming, okay, that particular repetition we can avoid, right? So this is something like, this is one example of, say, we want to make our programs modular. Okay, this is one example. Okay, I'll show you one more example, and then I'll come back to this particular slide. Give me 1 minute. Yeah. Forget about whether you will understand this or not. Just look at this. Okay. This is something like, you can see that 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction. You understand, right? Whenever I press 1, addition, 2, subtraction. Sorry. 3, multiplication, 4, division, and 5, exit. Don't you think that whenever you call the helpline, it happens in the same manner? If you want to go back to the previous menu, press 9. If you want to talk to our customer care person, yeah, press 4, something like that. It happens continuously. Don't you think so? Okay. So that is the cassette going on continuously. That is the record going on continuously. In the same manner, I want to execute this again and again. Okay, and then I want to take the value from the user. Okay, if you enter 1, execute addition. If you enter 2, execute subtraction. If you want to come out, okay, execute enter 5. Okay, what do I have to give? I have to execute those functions separately. Now, if I write down addition 1 code, the full code, okay, accept 2 numbers, write down, enter the 2 numbers, okay, enter the resultant value, wherever you want to store the result. Okay, then Accept the values for subtraction. Wherever you want to show the result. Okay, in the same manner, multiplication, division. Don't you think the number of statements would get increased? What am I going to give? Here, forget about return and all. Huh? You don't know anything. Forget about that. So, def add x comma y, total equal to x plus y. You can see here, def subtract x comma y, s equal to x minus y. Def multiply x comma y, m x into y. Def division x comma y, d equal to x by y. And can you see here? Only the values of a and b have been given only once, not more than that. And whenever that particular function is called below, okay, that add is called here. See, every time add ab, subtract ab, I mean sub ab, multiply ab, and then div ab. Don't you think the number of statements that I could have written to write this down, write down this particular code separately has come down by, say, around 10 statements lesser. So now my code is written in such a way that it can be easily understandable, and it is modular, and so many different operations I can execute with the help of this particular user defined function. Did you understand what do I want to say? From this particular problem statement, I'm going to execute it. Don't worry at all. Did you understand what am I saying? Any problems up till now? So this is something like modularity. If suppose you haven't understood that also, it's okay. Huh? I'm going to explain this to you. Don't worry. But we are going to write down the code in chunk by chunk manner, module by module manner. Okay. And thank you, Vaishali. For that, we are going to execute the things. So now we can come to this particular slide. In the design of this large-scale software or even moderate-sized programs, repetition, complexity, lack of structure can lead to error-prone, unreadable code. Yeah, that happens. There are errors. If suppose my code is going up to 100 lines, forget about 100 lines. If my code is up to 50 lines, then also I can make errors. Or anybody can make errors. Okay, because we don't give the spaces properly, comma properly, double quotes properly. These are the basic syntactical errors. Forget about the logical errors. Okay, so functions are the foundational construct in programming. Okay, that address these challenges by enabling structured problem by decomposition and reusability. So these are the various reasons we are going to execute, understand modularity and reusability. Abstraction, we might understand it later, not now, because that would be understood by you in object-oriented programming whenever you are going to learn. Okay, debugging and testing is very, very important. Okay, I don't know whether you have heard that there are two types of testing, alpha testing and the beta testing. And whenever the product comes into the market, I meant to say for the customers, okay, and when it is easily available without you don't have to pay for that particular product, okay, then that time the beta testing is going on, and the alpha testing, which is done at the whenever the developers have developed it, okay, that time it's nothing but the alpha testing. Okay, so there are different types of testing. That is the other part of the story. But yes, debugging and testing is very, very important. Collaborative development. Yeah, if suppose there is a, I don't know whether you have heard about pair programming. Okay, why there are two people sitting for in the college life? Why there are two people sitting for doing the practicals in the lab generally? Okay, because one is applying his or her mind and other person is typing them down. Okay, so that is collaboration. In collaborative manner it is going on, and readability and maintainability that we can understand. Okay, so this is something like why the functions are very important. Okay, so if suppose without function, it would be, I told you, from that add, multiply, divide, subtract, that type of program, that there would be so many number of statements extra, which could have been maybe avoided, okay, whenever we are using the functions. Okay, so if suppose I say hello Alice, hello Bob, hello Carol, okay, I can say directly, no. Suppose here, now what is happening here, it is the parameter is passed. Okay, do you remember that when I had, oh, where is my code? So when I was writing the code, okay, that time here the parameter wasn't passed. So I told you that the brackets can be empty or you can pass the argument. Okay, so here now in this particular example, you can see that the argument is passed. This is known as the argument or the parameter. Okay, and if the argument is passed here, then yes, you need to, while calling the function, you are supposed to write it down. Because yeah, and again another thing is name is string. Okay, yeah, generally name is string, right? So we are going to give it in the double quotes, maybe Alice or Bob or Carol or something like that. Fine. So this is without or with function, and with function obviously our tasks are getting easier. Okay, so we need to understand the anatomy of the function. That is, so now we can understand. So definition of the function, definition, function name. I told you what are the rules. You are not supposed to use the keywords that are there in that particular programming language. Currently in Python, you can pass n number of parameters or you may not pass the parameter. Okay, and you need to call that particular function. Okay, so function body. So here this function body would come here. Okay, let it be. Actually, it's capital. I'm typing it down in PPT, so automatically it's coming. Okay, you can see here function name. So the same function name is supposed to be used. Okay, and then the parameter 1, parameter 2. So I have written here P1, P2. Why P1, P2? I will let you know. Return output. Return is optional. Okay. Now, so these are the various components that we are using when we are executing a function. So def for the definition of the function, function name, the name of the function, parameter we may not give, we may give, we may not give, they're optional, colon for the, what did I say? For defining the scope, indentation. Okay. Docstring, you can give triple quoted string describing the function's purpose if required, again optional. Okay. Body, one or more indented Python statements, whichever we want to be given. Okay. And then the return, again optional. Okay. So this is something like, okay. So now I'll go back to my, this one. Are there any doubts? Are you all getting it? Yes, Nikki? Not getting? Or no, ma'am, for no doubts? Okay, understood. No problem. Okay, so I can execute this and I can show you, right? If suppose I write down here. Okay, no problem, because nowhere the data type has been mentioned, right? So hello 1, 2, 3 also I can give. Hello Bob, and then hello whatever the third name is. Fine. So now, so definition of the, so now here another function is written, say welcome message. So welcome to Python programming, and this is executed. Please keep it in mind, the indentation here, okay, and this welcome message, that function whenever you call, Okay, that should be below your def D, from where your column 1. Okay, so wherever your def D starts, so there your welcome message or whatever the function name should come. Okay, so I hope you can understand. These are the different functions that are written. Okay, we talked about it. So now you can see here, this is something like greet user. Okay, so name. And then I said print hello. Okay, hello name. So that name would be passed. Okay, now I suppose I write it down something like this. What do you think? What would happen? Would it give me error or would it execute? Got the error. Right? Why? Greet user missing one required positional argument. So that positional argument, whichever has been passed as name, some value I have to write it down. Okay, so I will say hello, hello. If I want to print hello, hello. Okay, no problem. It would get printed. Hello, hello. Fine. It is going to get executed like this. Fine. Now, def student info. Now, can I pass more than one parameter? Yes, why not? I told you, you can pass as many as parameters. No problem. Okay. Now you can write it down. Say, I want to print. Say name and roll number. But please keep it in mind. How is it going to get executed? Yeah, I didn't tell you that. I just forgot. So sorry. Okay. Here, now what is going to, how is the control going to come from the definition to the calling? Okay. What happens first? Suppose I don't give this, assuming. Okay, I can do this. Okay, now I'll try to execute. Just a minute. It has taken the definition already and stored it. Okay, let it be. See, hello. I wanted to show you this. Okay, I'll tell you why it ran also. That also I'll tell you. Firstly, we will look at this. If I say ABC hello, do you think what is this ABC? No, not at all. And Python will also not understand. So it will not get executed. It is saying name ABC is not defined. Fine, no problem. Now I will say def ABC. Say message. I hope it is not print. Hello. Okay, I'll execute it now. Okay, now it got executed. I hope you understood it. Okay, but before this, what I wanted to show you, if suppose I remove this and if I executed this, it will not execute. It will say, what is this ABC is all about? Fine. So please keep it in mind that now I'll remove this. Now what is going to happen? If I give def greet user, okay, and then name, what am I going to get? Nothing. Fine. The meaning is I need to give the definition of the function. But as soon as the definition of the function is given, it starts searching. Where is the definition of the function? If suppose you have not given it here, and if suppose you have given it here, and if I write it down, Vaishali, okay, then also no problem. See, it showed me hello Vaishali. Okay, what happened exactly? How is the I meant to say, how is it going to get executed? If suppose you give directly calling, it won't get executed. If you give definition of the function, it will get executed, but it will not show you the output. So what is going to happen once you give the definition of the function, whether with the parameter, whether without the parameter, it is going to search for where is it called. Once it is called, okay, it will come to that and see what has been given. See what has been given in the sense whether the name Vaishali has been given or Madhavi has been given won't be seen. Whether something has been given because here the parameter was passed. So if the parameter is passed here, whether that parameter has got certain value over here, if it is given, it will go back to the definition of the function. It will print this until here. Okay. And whatever the name I have written, say Vaishali or Madhavi or Ankit or hello, whatever. Okay. That particular hello or Ankit or Madhavi, okay, would get substituted over here. So I just told you the sequence in which manner your function gets executed. First, definition, then check for calling, then along with the definition, whether the parameter is passed. If along with the calling, the parameter's value has been passed or not, then it will come to the statement which is there given in the definition. Okay, and then it will print it along with that parameter's value. Whatever the print or whatever the statement has been given, it will get printed. So in this sequence, your the user defined functions work. Got it? Did you all get it? Any doubt? Or if suppose you haven't understood, you please write it down in the chat, because this, again, I'm telling you, very important to understand. Because we are in no hurry to complete it today itself. We are going to continue the next part of the functions next time also, but the later part. But if the basics you didn't understand, you don't understand, it might be an issue. Okay, I hope you are getting it. If suppose there is any doubt, please write down in the chat. Okay, now I can go ahead. Okay, forget about this step. Okay, now you will understand it here that, okay, yeah, we had come down, we had talked about it, to be very frank. No, it's okay. So def student info, name, comma, roll number, roll. Okay, these are the two parameters that are passed. They are passed here. I need to, now we will do one more thing. Okay, let it be. Give me 1 minute. I'll execute this first. Okay, I hope you understood. Now I would say, okay. Okay. Now I'll try to execute it. See, it gave me the error. Missing one required positional argument. Means if suppose two parameters are passed, then two values are required to be given. I hope you got it, right? So, fine. So, got it? So in this manner, you need to understand about the parameters and about that particular function whenever you are executing. Okay. Now, fine. There is, okay, we will go to PPT once. We'll check what all things have been given. Otherwise, I might forget the things in between. So this type of example, yes, we understood now. Return, we will not talk about return at this moment, but yes, passing the two parameters. Okay, and then expecting the output is normal. Okay, so we spoke about this. Do you want to have a look uh, uh, on the slide once? We talked about it, so I can go ahead. We talked about it. We spoke about it. Yeah, we understood this, right? We spoke about all the things, right? Do you want to have a look once? I'll give you a few seconds. Okay, I hope we spoke about it. Yeah, we spoke about this too. Now, default parameter values. Python allows function parameters to have default values. These default values are used when no corresponding argument is provided during a function call. So here you can see that def function name. Okay, I want to give the default parameter as something. Say course is always CS1010 currently going on. Okay, so this is the default value, but names are changing. Okay, names are Vaishali, names are Roshan, names are X, names are Y, ABC. Okay, so whenever you want to give those the by default values which you want to be printed, okay, along with those names, okay, then you can give the default values also in this manner. So here registration of the student can be done, right? So which all things are required? Say name, okay, course is CS1010, fine. Then print student's name and print the course enrolled as say course. So what is going to happen? Register student, whenever you are saying say course as 1010, it's fixed, the value is fixed. The name can be anything, then I don't need to pass the value because that value has been given already. Okay, in the definition of the function. We will execute this, don't worry. Okay, so what is going to happen? Register student, say Rahul, then Megha or whomsoever, fine. But if suppose I don't want to give CS1010 and for that girl, Megha, I want to give the name, the course score as CS1020, then that would get printed. Fine. But otherwise, if you don't pass it here in this particular case, I told you up till now, that you need to pass the values. If suppose I write name and roll number, okay, then I'm supposed to write down both the values. We saw that. Okay, and we talked about it that if suppose one of the value is not given, then it would give me the error. Fine. But suppose if I am talking about say name, course has been given as a fixed value by default value, then yes, we can pass only one value. If we want to change the value, then it's very much possible to be changed. Okay. Fine. So let me come to that. You can see here. Okay. That I hope you understood it, right? Now I don't have to give any more example, any more explanation on this. Now, this is very important thing which is going to come now is nothing but the return. Okay. Now, whenever you write down that particular function, okay, the code is written. Always keep it in mind. Always there is a confusion in students' mind. Where to write down the code? The executable code. You are supposed to write down the executable code in the definition. Okay, always keep it in mind. Don't write down the executable code in the later part from where it is called. So you might ask that can't I write print? No, that's not a problem. You can write down print, not an issue. Okay, but the code is the logic I meant to say. Okay, the logic is supposed to be written under the def. Always keep it in mind. Whether you write it down with return, whether you write it down without return, that's the other part of the story. Okay, so write down the logic based code under the under the definition of the function. Okay, I hope you got it. I'm telling you a lot of small things, but yes, you need to understand them. So the return statement in Python function is used to send the value. Maybe because I told you there can be n number of parameters and there can be n number of functions also. Okay. So if suppose I am writing down the parameter, say parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3, something like that, no problem. I can pass them over here. That we spoke about it, right? So here what is going to happen? This particular this enables function to produce outcomes that can be stored, reused, or further computed. But if no return statement is used, the function returns none by default. Okay, so here whenever you are talking about, say, def, okay, square of x. Okay, now square is the function. By the way, is this the function there in Python already? Is this the system defined function? Anybody would like to say anything on this? Or what is the function related to this in Python? If I want to do the square, I want to calculate the cube, fourth root, something like that. What is the function available in Python? POW, right? Are you all remembering? No. Or it's okay, no problem. Okay, so here this, okay, so here POW is the function, so square can be our function, user defined function. Okay, so def user defined function, and say the parameter is passed. Now it would not come to return x into x. Okay, it would see where the square has been defined. Okay, it would come here. Okay, square is seen. Square of, say, x as 5. Say the square of 7, square of 10, square of 100, something like that. Okay, but if we want to display that square in the calling itself, understand it properly. I don't want to display that particular square or cube or whatever in the definition. I want to display it in calling. Okay, then it is better to store that particular value in some variable, in some identifier. What is this? Result. Okay, this particular result equal to square of 5. And then as soon as I say result equal to square of 5, that 5 would be passed over here. Okay, look at my mouse pointer. Okay, it would calculate return x into x, x into x means 5 into 5. Okay, and it will come here, result would be 25, and it will be displayed here. Okay, so in this manner, whenever you want the code to be executed, okay, whenever you want your calling function to take care of printing the result and all, okay, you can write down return, okay, but store that particular value in a variable, okay, and then display that particular value. Okay, now instead of this, I would show you something now. Just a minute, give me 1 minute. By the way, I just missed to tell you this, that whenever we are passing an argument to the function, okay, I would just take 5 minutes extra. I hope students that's okay for you. 5 to 7 minutes extra. Please allow me to do that. So here, whenever passing an argument to the function, we are passing here argument. This is known as the driver code. Okay, because this is driving the whole thing. Always keep it in mind. Okay, because because I told you, because if I call directly and didn't write definition, it doesn't work. At least if I write definition, I don't call, at least it doesn't give me the error. If you remember, I showed you everything. Okay. Only with this together. Okay. So when I call directly print me, okay, and if it is not given, won't get executed. That's why it's known as a driver code. Now what is happening here? Whenever I am executing this, fine, you can see print me, definition, print me, seen, yes, available, str, past, okay, but print, what is there in the print? What is given in the print me? Print high. So high is printed. It came here and then printed rest of the part. I'm first called to function. And then print me again. Now see, here print is given, but here it is print me. You must be expecting that it should print this. Again, second call to user defined function, but it won't print. Why? Because I am saying print me. Print me is saying what? Hi. So that has been printed. But if suppose here I write print, see, the output would be different. But if I write here print me, the output would be in this manner. Okay, in this manner it is the driver code. Okay, so I was talking to you about the return. But before that, one more thing. You can see here, see something like this. Suppose I have given x equal to 1. Okay, I am passing this particular x. Okay, even odd. Even odd is the function. It is going to check. Is even odd given? It would come to the driver code or function calling function. Okay, even odd is there. It would check. Parameter is given. Yes, x. Is parameter given here? Yes, 2. That 2 would be substituted here. Okay, then it is going to get executed. 2 mod 2 equal to 0? Yes, it is 0. It would print even. That's it. It came out of the function. It won't go to else. But later on, it saw, okay, one more even odd is given. Okay, it came here to even odd. What is the value? 3. Where would it be substituted? Here. Is 3 mod 2 equal to 0? No, I meant to say it is not even. It will come to odd. Okay, so in this manner, the functions work. Got it? Now, if here I'm talking about, this would be easier for you. I felt so. So I thought that I'll tell you this. Give me 1 minute. I will just remove the extra spaces. I hope you understood now how to give the def and how to give the indentation required for the same. Okay, this is a demonstration of the return function, return statement. Okay, now you can see here. Yeah, now you can see it in one screen. So def add a comma b. Forget about sub. Okay, def add a comma b. What is it going to check? Whether add is given or not. Yes, add is given. Fine. A comma b. How many parameters? 2. Are 2 parameters passed? Yes. 2 comma 3. 2 comma 3 would be taken from here. Would be substituted here. Okay, return 2 plus 3, 5. But where to return? There has to be some value to return. That is nothing but add result or addres. Okay, and then this can be printed. Now we can come to the later function sub, def sub. Okay, a comma b. Fine. Sub a comma b. Fine. It would see, it would check. Is sub given? Yeah, sub is given. It would not look at this subarrays at this moment. Okay, sub a comma b. Yeah, a comma b. What are the values? 6 and 5 respectively. Return 6 minus 5. Yes, 1. We know. Okay, but where is it going to get returned? Where is it going to get returned? It is going to get returned into some variable, that is subarrays, sub result. Okay, and they can be printed. So when we execute, we can, so we can see the output in this manner. Have you all got this? Surely. Any doubts? This topic is very vast. Always keep it in mind. Any doubts? Would you please quickly tell me yes or no? If doubts, then say yes. If no doubts, then say no. And if doubt is there, don't say only yes, write it down, write down your doubt. Don't hesitate to ask me the doubts, because this is very, very important. We are at very important juncture because we are going to execute the later part of this particular syllabus. That's nothing but the file handling, then exception handling, okay? And there we would be using, I will be using the functions as if you know everything. Then that time I will not explain you what is dev, what is call, what is parameter passing, and what is return. Okay, please understand it clearly. Okay, okay. Fine, thank you so much for the response. Now here you can see the later part of the function, later part of the slides. So calculate area, we talked about it, return. Okay, we spoke about it. So now I hope I don't have to read it, and you can understand. Fine. We can pass the multiple values also. Why only always one or two or three? Okay, it's very much possible. So we spoke about, right? We spoke about writing the two different functions in one program, add and sub. Here also the same thing. It has been given here that rectangle properties say length and width, length and width. Okay, so area equal to now what I want to do. I want to calculate everything whatever is happening with rectangle. So I want to calculate area. I want to calculate perimeter. Okay. So area would be length into width. Perimeter would be 2 into length plus width, something like that. So I can write down, we had talked about this, okay, before. We can give more than one value on the left hand side. Okay. So a comma p equal to rectangle underscore properties 5 comma 3. So automatically that area would be displayed by a, and perimeter would be displayed by p. Okay, we have talked about this, giving this type of sorry. Yeah. This type of variables on the left hand side, more than one variable. Okay. Okay. This is okay. More than one function is called. About the list, so I will take up in the list part. Okay, calling that particular list in the function, I'll take it next time. Okay, this is for practice. Okay, so yeah, so these are the flow steps which I told you actually already. Okay, so maybe the caller passes the argument to the function entry. Okay, then parameters are checked. How many parameters? If there are two, then two. If three, then three. Function body gets executed. If there is need of return, you can give return. But then if there is a need return, then resultant value has to be given. How I told you that add res equal to what? That add function was called. Okay, add 5 comma 3. Okay, add res equal to add 5 comma 3. Sub res equal to sub 5 comma 3, something like that. So if return is given, then that equal to would come. Okay, so this, yes, so we talked about that. These are the common mistakes and debugging tips, but yes, we have talked about them. That not giving the same function name which is available in our Python functions or Python list already, because they are the keywords. Okay, need to understand the return values properly, otherwise you will get the none output. We will talk about that later. Okay, in the later lecture. Not giving the number of parameters that are expected to be given. Okay, then lack of proper testing, function errors can be there. Okay, giving print, yeah, that's what I had given for quick tracing. I am in calling function, I am in called function, something like that. This is very, very important to give in the beginning. In the beginning, you should do that. Okay, I am currently I am in definition. Currently I am in called function. Giving such type of print is very important to give. Okay. Clear naming, modular design is very important to give. Okay. So I hope you understood whatever has been taken today. Any doubts to anybody? Everybody has understood? Okay, so that's it from my end. We will continue with the later part of the functions on in the next lecture. I hope that's okay. Right? Thank you and bye.